Introducing Instagram teen accounts. A new way to keep your teen safer as they grow. Like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, sweetie pie, buckle up. Good job.
Or ring the bell on their bike.
Okay, kid, give it a try. Nice.
Or remember their elbow pads.
Knees too, okay? Yep. There you go.
New Instagram teen accounts. Automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
The Devils got all the Hughes boys. Let me bring up Vita Blue because I haven't done that previously. I looked them up, Joe, for 1971.
Yeah, nice voice.
Thanks. It's back. First time in 5 years.
Reusse throat.
First time in 5 years.
Are we progressing, though? Are we getting better to the finish line?
Everything's better, but the throat doesn't get
You
better.
have a fever?
The throat, no, nothing, except a little cold. And Monday, I was home Monday in the morning and got up and my nose was running.
This
and
is
stuff
Monday.
A week ago. And I said, that's why I didn't come in.
Yeah.
I said, here it comes. I haven't had it for 5 years, but here it comes. The spring, whatever the hell it is that I get all the time. But Vita, he's turned 22 in July that season.
Yep.
24-8, 182 ERA, 312 innings, 301 strikeouts.
That's amazing.
He also no-hit the Twins, although I don't think it was that year. But where is this? What is this? Stop.
Call. Your car warranty has expired.
Stop.
I have this day in history for you.
Okay, so
May?
Vita died cancer, and he was something. He was one of our first phenoms, and then Fidrich, and then Fernando.
And they were all short-lived.
Yes, they were. Vita hung around, but he wasn't great for more than 4 or 5 years.
This is May 8th. On this day in 1881, encouraged by Bishop John Ireland and sponsored by John Sweetman, visionary leader of the Irish American Colonization Company, a group of Irish farmers moved to Curry in Murray County.
You know why Curry is famous on Monday Night Sports Talk? Curry is where the old man took us to get on the train.
That's right.
And then he would be at the various crossings, and we'd exchange gunfire between eating our hamburgers and drinking our Orange Crush as the old man would race down this gravel road and be at the turn, and we'd all shoot at him, and then he'd hurry on and go down to the next one.
Does Curry still exist?
Yes, Curry's still up there. Not many towns. It was always never had a high school. It was always one of those places that just had a Catholic high school.
Yeah.
We used to play them. There used to be this KC baseball, the Foresters or something.
Yeah.
That Knights of Columbus baseball. We used to play Curry all the time.
But I didn't know Murray County. In other words, Murray County was quite Irish.
There was pockets and a lot of Germans too, but Irish. But the thing about the towns down there though was, if the Irish settled there, then it was all Irish. If the Germans settled, it was all they didn't mingle.
They didn't integrate.
They didn't mingle.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. And so Curry was, Iona, Curry, those little tiny towns were all Irish and Catholic as can be. That's why it was, to be a Catholic undertaker, that was a good spot.
It was a hell of a job.
A lot of Catholic towns around there. Lismore, somebody died in Lismore. We got him.
Yeah.
We got him. Catholic. Wilmot. We were good in Wilmot too. It was a Catholic. It was some of those Lutheran towns.
Well, what was the name of the funeral parlor? What was the official name of your dad's business?
Reusse Funeral Home.
Well, how'd they know it was Catholic?
Because he gave them the calendars.
Oh, you had
He gave 'em
calendars.
the calendars every year. At the start of the year, you'd have the calendars for the year with all the holy days and stuff on
Okay.
them. And Reusse Funeral Home.
I got it.
Call us when a loved one leaves us. And,
Don't you wish you still had one of those calendars?
oh, God, yes.
Wouldn't that be
I bet
neat?
we had hundreds of them,
Yeah.
too.
You guys didn't use Joe's tagline for Mueller Memorial back
Yes.
then. What is it?
Well, they parked my mom and dad.
Yes, right.
Parked
That's right.
Yeah.
Pre-cremation, too, back
back
when
then,
you put them
yeah.
in the hole, right? Then put them in the...
Put them in a hole.
Oh, that would have killed my old man if this cremation movement would have
sure.
been bad. Yeah. You know, this is where you want to put the loved one in this nice casket.
Yeah.
Well, you got any others, Dick? Okay. These. You got any others? Well, we had to walk back and behind and go buy all this stuff, and then the cheap ones were way in the back.
Yeah.
We didn't want to sell you a cloth one.
No.
Either wood or some kind of metal.
Yeah.
We didn't want to.
You say we as though you were involved somehow. You.
Yeah. Well, when we were playing hide and seek, we'd be back there, and you go back and hide in the cheap ones, you were harder to find. So.
Your twins, they're not mine. Your twins can't hit.
No, they can't.
Korea can't hit.
No, 193, is it? 193.
Yeah. What's he with runners in scoring position?
Worse.
191, I think.
Yeah. He can play shortstop, but really, you didn't think you were getting Louis Gomez when you gave him $200 million. You thought you'd get a little pop with it. This whole thing about being a slow starter and all that, okay, I can put up with that, but not when the bases are loaded. I want you to hit a double. That's what I want you to do.
That's right.
That's what I want you to do something. Yesterday again, boom. They load the guy without him getting a hit, 2 walks and a hit batsman, load the bases, nobody out, second inning. Miranda can't wait to pop up, and then Nick Gordon, of all people, hits into a double play, and then you don't score. What the hell?
You know, the quickness with which these games are finished.
Unbelievable.
All the times I used to listen to Twins games are gone.
Yes, right.
Like I got done playing yesterday.
Yes, right.
Thinking, I get
the
the
ball
7th,
game
8th,
on.
and 9th.
They don't even
Over.
have the post-game show.
Post-game
probably.
was over.
Yes, 2:09 yesterday. 2:09.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
It's the most it's so successful it might not be successful, right?
You know who waxed eloquently about it in his column? George Will.
Loves it.
Just praised it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Except you're right, when they're going fast. I mean, I was this yesterday. I turned it on.
Yeah.
I looked online, and I saw they had the bases loaded and didn't score.
Right.
But I was doing other stuff. I turned it on. It was the 6th inning, and they didn't have a hit.
Yep.
You know.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to lumberjack themselves, baseball.
Too successful.
Too successful.
Yeah, that's right. It could be. It's and you know it's funny. There's a lot of these 2-0 games, low scoring, but then once in a while you see the 16-12.
Well, Texas and who'd they beat
12
yesterday?
to,
It was 12-8 or 12-9 or something.
Once in a while you see the high scoring.
Why invariably, when I watch a Padres game, are they dressed in military uniforms?
Well, it's a
They do
huge
that
military.
No, I
do
know
that
it's a
on
military.
Sunday. They do that on Sunday.
Oh, on Sundays?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
And they let the military. Now they did for years when they didn't draw.
Right.
Let the military in for free.
They
and
draw.
Sat them upstairs. Now they're drawing like crazy.
Who won that game? Dodgers and
Dodgers
Padres.
came back and won.
The Hader blew it with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Mookie tied it with a home run, and then the Dodgers scored 3 in the top of the 10th.
Major League Baseball yesterday. I looked this. You like to look at attendance. I looked at attendance. 15 games yesterday. 6 drew over 40.
Wow.
And 3 more drew over 35.
What they draw in Cleveland was a Bluebird
Cleveland,
day.
17,000
It
or
was a
something.
Bluebird day.
The 3 more over 35,000. But Tampa, 32,000.
No.
You're kidding.
They opened the upstairs and they had 32,000 for the Yankees. Yes, that They've discovered the Rays now that the Lightning have lost and the Bucks haven't started.
Wow.
That for them is like a whole homestand.
That's $1 million.
Well, that, and they're also the best team in baseball. They're good.
28-7.
Yep.
You think so? Wow. They were behind 6-0 to Garrett Cole and
they
won
came back.
yesterday. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Now, have they made progress with the new stadium down there?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
I don't think they will.
The lease is up on. They're still stuck there through 2027.
Oh, I thought I had read something somewhere that they were making progress.
There's always a way out of that, but no one's come forward to make that happen. There's always a way out of a lease.
Yes,
But you need a guy with big bucks.
You give them so much money, they say goodbye. And Tampa, St. Pete just keeps them there. So that stadium is. But they had to open some concession stands they hadn't used in a long time. I gotta think.
Dusting everything off.
Yeah.
Because I've been there. I went up there to do a thing a couple of years ago. I went up there to do some stuff in spring training, and they got the upstairs covered, with a tarp.
Yeah.
And dust, and there's just. They've never been up there to clean it in any way. I'm sure when they took that carp off, there were dead things underneath it.
Have you been in the Cleveland Park, the new one?
Yes.
I've not been in that park.
Yeah.
I think it looks neat.
It's been there since.
It's not that new anymore, I suppose.
I think it was the second one after Baltimore.
After Camden Yards, yep.
Yeah, it's good. They opened up the.
Is it still called Jacobs Field?
No, it's Progressive Field.
Progressive
Jacobs
Field.
sold the team,
Yeah.
but they opened up the corridors. Last time I was there, they originally it was just all brick all around, but they did some work and opened up the corridors to some extent, which is the new thing.
In fact, when they opened that stadium, didn't they set MLB record for number of sellouts?
Yeah, they had an incredible number of sellouts,
including the year of the strike, didn't they? That same year, the year of the strike, 94?
Well, that's when they opened the stadium, right?
Is that what it was? Okay.
I think it was.
Okay.
They opened the stadium in 94, and then the season got stopped.
Right.
That was their first winning season in a long time, too.
Our boys are now home and finally having good weather.
Yes.
Except
and
might storm every night.
San Diego, you might get a little thunderstorm.
San Diego and followed by the Cubs.
I'm in the predicament here of the pool is opening on May 12th.
Uh-oh.
And they always want you to put the water up real high so you can get everything running.
Yeah.
But if you do that before they get everything running,
what if it rains?
And then the rain comes and it goes over the top, and then there goes your liner.
Yeah.
So I would rather risk them trying to figure out how to start everything up with the water down, because I'm not filling it up and then have 2 thunderstorms that give you 2 inches of rain each.
Who has to go outside this summer? You? During a storm? Is it still you that has to go out and fix it?
I usually have to get her out there with me.
Yeah, because it's complicated.
I provide the muscle.
Yeah.
But she has to tell me what I should do.
Yeah.
Because when I do that, you got to push this lever down.
Yep.
Right?
You need instructions.
You got to push this lever down. And then when you crank
She's the foreman on the job site.
You got to crank it to your right,
Yeah.
And you got to stop in the right hole.
Yeah.
Because if you don't stop in the right hole, then you can screw up the whole operation.
Yep.
Of course, the May 12th opening is just the start.
Right.
Then they turn on the equipment, and then you see what you have to replace.
Right.
Last year, they got me for the heater late in the year.
Yeah.
I said, should I wait till next year to put the heater in so it doesn't have a winter of wear?
Right.
And they said, no, it won't make any difference.
They wanted their money now.
$4,000
Ooh.
for the heater.
Well, it's the money pit.
It is the money pit. It is. I saw some new neighbors next door yesterday, and I went over there, and they've been here for a year, but I haven't talked to them much. And I said, hey, they're out there playing catch in the yard. I said, you want to come over and use the pool anytime? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'd like to see somebody in it once in a while. I got the neighbors with the little kids. They come over once in a while, but
see, that's what
nobody
keeps it
uses
clean.
it anymore.
Swimming in it keeps it clean.
Yes, you got to get it. You got to get some action.
You got to have waves.
Why May 12th? Was this a ceremony? Is this a...
No, they just schedule everything.
Oh, that's when you're on the
I always try
schedule.
to say, put me at the back end of the operation, because then the weekly start as soon as they do that. So
Is it the happiest day of your year when it's closed?
closed. That's the day that that's the day that you go. Howard Fox, the only good quote he ever had.
Yeah.
I've told you it. Sold the house with the pool today. Haven't been that happy since the dog died. He didn't want inconvenience.
Right. He just wanted to live his life.
Because they're, he was apparently other family members were closer to the dog than Howard was. So,
Does he have people still around here?
yeah, I think his kids, grandkids, probably. Yeah, I think so. Yes.
He was a different sort of fellow.
Sort of guy. You know, he was always very nice to me.
No,
he
not
might
to
not
me.
have been to you
Not
because
to
you
me.
took a. You said he put the mint on the pillow for Calvin, which was probably.
Turned-
He never missed anything like
It was
that.
a great line, man.
Yes, it was. It was great.
He would turn down Calvin's bed and place the mint on the pillow.
Wow.
And then
You know, they wouldn't even let me write that today.
in '84, suddenly, the team was in
Contention?
limbo, basically,
Oh, limbo.
'84, because we were having Harvey do the buyout and the whole thing, and suddenly Howard was following Carol Pohlad down the hallway, and you said, "Okay, this is a done deal."
That's
then.
right.
Yeah, Howard's going to.
My favorite Howard story, though, I've told you. My trash guy was Frank Domaris, Highland Sanitation. And I got to know Frank very well. He became a friend. And he was telling me one time that he and his kid were going to the game. He says, yeah, I found tickets under the taped to the lid of the trash can on my route. And these people would occasionally leave tickets for him.
Good.
And so Frank told me he and his kid were at the Dome. And what was the Twins dugout? Third base?
Third base side.
base.
Yep.
Third base, and Frank was right behind the dugout with his kid, and Howard was nodding to all the people around there, thinking they were the swells, you know, had the good seats, and he turned to Frank and said, "Oh, season ticket holder?" And Frank said, "No, I found them on my trash route. Tickets were left for me on my trash route." Howard blanched and turned around.
Yes, that was not a very good PR thing by Frank, but what the hell?
Oh, Frank with that.
You know what? I missed that old roughed place on that last homestand, man.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Now you get the weather, and you're saying, okay, let's play outside.
My plan was top
That's
drawer
right.
plan, but it was ignored.
And
You
now-
would have
now-
had two seasons. You would have had an outdoor season and an indoor season.
And now this new dome is built so non-conforming for baseball.
Right.
That could
Even
be
though
done.
they're trying like hell to play as many games as
they
there as
play
possible.
in there. They play in
Could have
there.
had two openers. You could have had parades.
Oh yeah, that's
everything.
right. Two openers. Whatever. The outdoor opener.
Don't have your outdoor opener until
Till
June
May.
1st.
No, May.
May.
Probably May.
Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, well, whatever, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been
Or
April. No,
you could
no
look-
outdoor in April.
Here's what you could do. You could book games through April.
Right.
Never, originally, how many games they played outdoor at night at Met Stadium in April?
I bet there's a book about this somewhere.
Yeah, well, I looked it up, but
Yeah.
there probably was in the book 7 in 21 years.
Really?
7 night games in April.
Wow.
And they were always like on the last Friday, and somebody wanted to put them on TV or something.
So when the Oaklands move to Vegas, that's obviously going to be an indoor stadium. That won't be a retractable or anything?
They're going to build only about 35,000 seats. So
Really?
Which I think's
build-
smart.
Small little one, and they got the land there, and that'll work.
Although I don't know why Winnipeg built such a small hockey building. Hockey was going to work in
Well,
Winnipeg.
they didn't have an NHL team then, though.
I thought they built it for the NHL
No,
team.
they built it
They
in
built it
to
hoping-
lure the NHL.
Hoping.
They were when they were the Winnipeg playing our Moose. They were building that arena, I think.
Okay, did the Winnipeg Jets come to Winnipeg from Phoenix, from Arizona?
Atlanta. Weren't they the Thrashers?
No, that were Calgary. That's Calgary.
The
Calgary
Winnipeg
Flames.
Jets moved to Phoenix.
Yeah.
They instead of here,
Right.
and then Atlanta team moved to
Calgary.
No.
Atlanta went
This
to Calgary.
current version of the Jets used to be the Atlanta Thrashers.
They had 2 teams in Calgary. They had 2 teams in Atlanta. They both moved Calgary and Winnipeg.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Atlanta Flames, right? Weren't they?
No, what became the Jets?
No, the original version of
that I don't
NHL
know.
team.
Yes, Flames.
The Flames. Then they went to Calgary. And they went to Calgary, and then the other team went to Winnipeg. They went broke twice.
Atlanta tried it twice.
Twice and failed, which is amazing, you know.
How long will Phoenix hang in there?
I don't know.
Put the damn team back in Canada. Either Hamilton or Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec has an arena, I guess, but I don't know if they will. I don't know.
What if we get
I'm rooting for Edmonton, but I don't think so.
What if we get an Edmonton-Seattle final in the West?
That would be problematic for TV.
But McDavid, that's some star power.
Oh, God, yes.
And old rivals from the Western Junior Hockey League.
Do you know that Seattle is the first American team to win a Stanley Cup?
Yeah, 1913
or 1917, something like that.
Yeah,
the Blacks hanging in the climate change arena.
They for years were a extremely successful, Seattle minor league team out there in hockey. You know what they're doing here, though? They're closing out basketball in both Vegas and Seattle because they're creating such a base of, now that Seattle, we want the Supersonics back, blah, blah, blah. Now they don't give a damn because they got the crackheads.
Right.
And they're going to the finals. And
I think Milwaukee could support an NHL team.
I don't know. I don't know. They just...
You do know the lineage of the Devils, of course. They started as Kansas City.
Yes, Kansas City.
Scouts.
And
then went to Colorado. Then went to New Jersey.
Failed in Colorado as the what?
Rockies.
They were the Rockies, yes. They were the original Rockies. That's true.
Then the Quebec Nordiques went to Colorado.
Yes, and won the Cup the first year.
Yeah.
Right away. Immediately.
With Patrick Roy.
Yep.
And they brought in Pat Burke in the last month of the year, and he won his first Cup. The great defenseman, right, Pat? No, what was his name? Ray Burke. The defenseman.
I'm rooting for the cardiac.
Bork.
I'm rooting for the cardiac cats, Florida Panthers.
Really?
I just feel for them. They're out there in the middle of nowhere. Nobody gives a bleep. It's hockey. It's 98 degrees. I'm rooting for Florida.
Yeah, I'm sure they're drawn like crazy now.
They are.
People are fanatical, and then they'll go back and do.
They won in overtime last night.
Mm-hmm. I'm my guy Tibbs has got to win tonight, though. I don't know. I'm worried about him.
The funny thing is watching whenever the Miami Heat play, and Butler does well, and they upset the Bucks or whatever, and Timberwolves fans can't handle it whatsoever. No. I got news for the Wolves fans. Jimmy Butler was right.
Yes, right.
He was right.
What did he say?
And
the Towns is soft. Wiggins is soft. He was right about everything.
And the thing is, if we had given him the money instead of giving it to Wiggins, they gave their second max. They gave their max contract to Wiggins. Mm-hmm. If he'd given it to him, he would have been fine.
Yeah.
Now he still would have been chasing Cat's girlfriend and stuff,
right. But they'd be a better team.
They'd be he would have been the best thing that ever happened to Cat.
God, absolutely.
He would have been. And you got to know he's now at a point in his career he's going to miss 20 games a year. He's going to do what he does, but when it's time to play, he's a hard human being.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So what? Let's see. I had a couple other really big thoughts.
You didn't write notes today. We keep some of your notes. There's one
Rook likes to repeat those, especially the ones that are underlined.
Yeah. What's this?
Toilet.
That was one of your notes.
That was something I.
You
didn't
fixed
like
something
about.
with the toilet.
Yes. I was telling you about the toilet. We had one thing about between Florida and Minnesota. Mm-hmm. We had a handyman in Florida, crazy old guy.
You got a guy.
He's gonna be like 70.
Yeah.
The wife would be there, and he'd be telling, he's a 70-year-old bachelor, divorced, and he'd be telling us about all his luck with widows and stuff. Basically, he was Well, they won't leave him alone, and he was just...
Got another house call.
And he would talk constantly, and he'd be around the place, but he'd fix everything in about 5 hours and say, you owe me $60.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'd give him 80 because he was there. She had a guy over there the other day for hours doing stuff. 1,000.
Oh, no.
When the thing. So Florida prices can be cheaper. There's no doubt
if
about
the
it.
guy's getting lucky with the widows.
Yeah, right. The widows.
That's the service fee.
Yeah. And I think that was before we were moving, though. So I said, you know, go to the garage, take anything you want. You know, he might have taken one of the toolboxes.
All the toolboxes that were still in it, the original plastic.
Cellophane.
Yep.
Yeah, this is. Hey, you got a great toolbox out. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead and have it.
The funny thing is, the only thing we ever use is a screwdriver and a pliers, basically. And you can never find those.
No,
You can find other toolboxes, but you can't find the pliers in the toolbox.
I know what I was going to bring up. Joe, you're aware of what Thursday is, are you not?
This Thursday?
This coming Thursday.
I'm not.
And we used to cover this extensively on the Ride with Reusse. It is, in fact, NFL schedule release day on
that's
Thursday.
right.
To the point where
Joe,
I would mock the Vikings schedule.
Judd does that now. Mocks
Yep.
how the schedule is going to look before it looks that way. Hey, May 8th. Isn't that
today.
when the Krauts gave up? Isn't that when the
Yes,
Krauts
this was the end of
surrendered?
World War II.
Really?
Yes.
Good.
We should mark. I mean, it's not the end of the war. We still had to beat the sneaky SOBs in the Far East, but
We took care of them with the bomb.
yeah, that was yeah. They talk about dropping a bomb. That was a bomb. That was the bomb. the bomb. But
And you don't feel as bad as you sound.
no,
You feel fine.
I'm fine.
Can you
I'm okay.
taste?
Taste is not great, which made me worry about whether I had COVID or not. But I tested myself twice, and I don't. So. But it's just the same crap I've
It's a
had my
Reusse
whole
throat.
life.
Yeah.
I've had this whole thing in my whole life. So the wife says, go to the emergency room. I said,
what?
I've been going to the emergency room for 50 years if I'd went every time I got this.
Right.
I got to be a lot worse than this.
Oh, I would think so.
Yeah,
It's
to go
just
to the emergency room. I got to have some
These
kind
are
of-
the best drugs I've ever had in my life.
That was
That was Philly, right?
that was Philly.
Philly, yeah. But when we did
No,
the TV,
it
was
was
after my
gallbladder.
gallbladder surgery.
Oh.
After my gallbladder surgery. That was the most dedication any radio man has ever shown. Wouldn't you?
You
I
were
think
on
so.
death's door,
Yeah.
and you still called
Give me
in.
the phone. Give me the phone. I got to do a show.
Gallbladder surgery was a hell of a lot easier than gallbladder attacks. I'll tell you.
bet.
You never had the gallbladder,
Nope,
have you?
I have not, thankfully.
Geez, it's just not fun to read these twin stats on this road trip.
No.
There's nothing to be hopeful
Well, the
about.
other thing, too, is Cleveland's okay, but it's not like the Cleveland staff they had from a couple of years
Cleveland's
ago.
hit 4 home runs at home this year.
Oh.
Or 5, I guess, the other day. Reusse hitting 420. The Twins hitting 220 as a team. 200-point spread now.
I was never a get rid of Louis Reusse guy.
Leadoff hitter. I always wanted. I know the lineup turns around and all that, but I want a guy that's going to give me a good at bat to start the game. So when Correa comes up to the plate, there's not one out. And maybe Correa will get interested enough to get a hit if there's somebody on first base right off the bat. So.
Plus, Louis was
Affable.
was a
sort.
good guy.
Affable sort.
Good in the room.
Yeah, he was good in the room. They
How
love
are
him.
the Marlins? Are they any good this year? I haven't looked at the
No,
standings in a
their
while.
big pitcher got hurt.
Alcantara
got hurt, and
Will Oakland win 40 games?
yes.
Okay.
But I wonder what they're going to do. Their lease, I guess, expires after next season. I wonder if they're going to go play in that Vegas minor league park. They might as well with the crowds they're drawing. They're doing everything they can to keep people away. Oakland, they're charging $30 to park
Oh, jeez.
in that lot, that big lot
Yeah.
outside there.
Well, they're only one game worse than your Kansas City Royals.
I know. I can't believe how bad the Royals are.
Yeah, I thought they were, because they have a little bit of young talent. Witt's a good player, But they're awful. My God, are they bad?
That Brad Keller who pitched against the Twins
Yep.
and walked about 5 guys and tried to give him some runs, and they wouldn't take him.
Right?
I saw he pitched the other day, and they gave up 10 or
Yeah.
some damn thing. Hey, I don't know what's wrong. I said they were going to have a bad lineup, but I didn't think it would be this bad. I don't know. This is as good as Kepler gets. This is Buxton's okay. And, Polanco, I don't think, is the same since he's with his bad knee. And they're just Miranda. Is Miranda gone when Farmer comes back? Are they going to send him back over to St. Paul?
Oh, boy, that's a good
For
point.
a tune-up? You think he might go for a tune-up? Did you see enough to watch him floundering around at third base this weekend?
I did not.
That was pretty
You
bad.
were lucky.
That
Oof.
was pretty bad. Or will they do that when Lewis comes back? Because isn't he due to come back sometime?
Month from now.
Oh, still a month yet. Okay. Because
He's
I just looked this up.
He's going to be your third baseman, though.
35 games into the season, Oakland already has a run differential of negative 124. It's May 8th.
Yeah, they've had taken some beating.
That is bad.
Well, why don't we rest your throat?
I think so. I was trying to think if there's something. Let me, how about an accolade for the Gophers softball team, which went out with, I believe, a 12-game winning streak, and now they're going into the postseason, and they got this pitcher, Autumn Pease. You know, she's one of the luckiest pitchers ever because whenever she pitches, the other team doesn't get any runs. Mm-hmm. That's
very lucky.
That's amazing.
That's what McCarver used to say about Bob Gibson. He's the luckiest pitcher ever. When he pitches, the other team never gets any runs. So that's it. So they're going into the Big Ten tournament, but they might make a little run again this year.
When did they make the...
I was there, 2019. College World Series.
Did they win the title?
No, they got 2 and out, but they had to play this UCLA dynasty. But I'm not ever going back because we have this 12-mile radius lightning rule.
I knew
Joe.
he was going to bring this up.
Now, if there's lightning within 12 miles, you can't play.
Okay.
So you can be sitting there in the sunshine at the Oklahoma City ballpark and have a 3-hour delay because there's lightning in Bartlettsville or something.
Well, you got to get it closer.
Yes, you got to be able to see it.
Got to be able to
I
see
it. I got to be able to see it. And if you lose a couple of people, let's say 2 a decade.
Yeah.
That's...
What's that?
That's not.
That's
There's
nothing.
other stuff can happen.
Wait. Was it lightning? Okay.
I got to be able to see it.
Right.
I don't want to go back. I sat through a 3-hour delay on a bluebird day because there was lightning some damn place. And in Oklahoma City at that time of year,
They get lightning.
every place. Right. So never go back. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. So anyway, that's it.
There we go.
All right.
We'll
Next
see you
week,
later.
I'll be good.
Yeah.
Maybe. You have heard me discuss my relationship with Josh Arnold for some time. The reason I advocate that you give Josh a call is simple. Trust and results. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions. As has been said, through all of our relationship, past results do not guarantee future returns. And while that is true, Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. You can understand that Josh will make sure you are not paying more in fees than you are seeing in returns. Yes, that is more common than you would like to think. Do yourself a favor and have a booking with Josh for the 48-minute free evaluation. This is a no-obligation meeting. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. You will be glad that you did.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Reusse is a paid endorser.